Radical.
Welcome to Flea Market Stories, documenting one man's journey to the world of flea marketing. Getting back in the rhythm of things. I think it's been like, 2-3 days since I uploaded? Used to be I'd rarely ever miss a day, but man, this week's just been kind of crazy. Some of the weeks are crazy, man, but I'm always usually able to squeeze in maybe like a Goodwill auction upload, because those are pretty simple, quick to the point, But I haven't been buying a lot on Goodwill this week. So after this one, hopefully I'll do Show Off Saturday as usual, and maybe tonight I'll get into a Radical Rapid Fire. That's the goal anyways. But I done told you all that I'm kind of skipping the whole breaking down every Saturday and every Sunday. I just kind of want to talk about, interesting moments at the flea market. I'm not going to rename it Flea Market Moments, but we'll just keep the flea market stories. So this is not really like a story, but more like, I don't know, in between like moment and a story. I don't know if it's all that interesting, but why not? We'll go for it. So today was not really that great of a day because it didn't rain a lot, but it rained enough to keep people away. Just a bad day, I met some interesting new customers. One I think might be a semi-permanent customer in the future. I did sell some things. I sold 3 things, which would be a PlayStation 4 pink controller, but not like, I don't know, kind of a mixture, not like a hot pink, but like a pale pink. It's a hard color to describe. You all saw it before. There was one, and then there was another blue one, and it had that nice marble type finish. First day I'm putting that out, and it sold versus the other 2 PlayStation 4 controllers I had. Sold that for $30, and I was surprised. No haggling on it, none. So, hey, that's a win, A off-branded PS4 wired controller for $30, that's a win. And then I sold... No, I just said I wouldn't get into the sales. Just briefly, just tell you all what I sold, because there's not a whole lot that I sold. I sold to what hopefully will be a new regular customer, Driver 2. And I showed him Driver 2, and he was really impressed with the graphics for PS1. Driver 2 looks really good on the PS1, I would say, and very ambitious for being like an open world type game on the PS1, kind of like a pre-Grand Theft Auto, I would say. I think it's an ambitious game anyways. And then NBA Ballers. Okay, on to this moment, the mini story. There's this one KID. I say that because YouTube they don't like, using that word. I don't know. Don't ask me why. That's, There's one KID that came by, and I gotta admit, this one's smooth. I ain't gonna lie. It's like maybe like, I won't say 10 to more than 11. This is an instance where, unlike Damien, I'd say I respect the hustle. This is one of those interesting people that might have been like trained from their dad to actually haggle. And I really, something about me, I like, if someone's haggling a bit, but if it's like a mini-me haggler, sometimes I'll relent just because I'm like, man, I respect the hustle. I just get a kick out of it whenever there's like some KID that's trying to haggle. It's just funny to me, right? And I think about, what are they haggling on? And is it something that I got really cheap, something that I'm probably having trouble selling? I shut it down if it's like GTA 5 and they try to haggle me down to $5. I'm like, nah, that ain't happening. But this was an interesting moment because this is a first. He just came by and he said, what do you have for $1? First time I had that question. Just, what do I have for $1? I'm thinking, I don't specifically keep things stocked up for $1 because I'm trying to make, the most money I can. But there's a market there at the flea market for just things that are $1. Now, I was going to bring a bin out of like random gaming items and stuff of that nature, DVDs and whatnot for $1, but, that's going to weigh a good bit. And I don't want to overweight a car already that has about like 5, 6, 7 game systems in it. which 360s are pretty heavy, the original. So I don't want to further weigh down the Impala by bringing a giant clear bin with a lot of CDs, DVDs, and then random stuff like those Wii accessories, things that I would let go for $1 each. So I don't. But that wasn't his first question. First question was, do you have any Pokemon cards? I said, I don't have any Pokemon cards, but I have... someone gave me something to sell, which is some 1990s, late 1990s Pokemon stickers. Like the kind you get out of little vending machines. You put 2 quarters in, put it in, and then like it comes out. And I looked up the value of some of these. There's 5 of them, and the value is actually close to $10 on some of these. So I have 5, and I put it in a backing board and a plastic thing like you would comics. And I says to him, I have these, which are not cards, but they're actually stickers in perfect quality. And he's looking at that, he's kind of shaking his head, like, $20. And they're like, and I said, I know, it's what they want for it. They said, they got some value. Then he asked me if I have any sports cards, baseball, basketball. Didn't have any sports cards. I tell him just really don't carry sports cards that much, just video games. And I can't exactly remember when, but he left after that. Then he came back maybe 10, 15 minutes later. And then he says, what do you have for $3? So it went from like, what do you have for $1 to what do you have for $3? Like he's negotiating. So he goes back, thinks about it, and he's like, well, I wonder. Maybe if I tell him $3, what do I have for $3? I'm thinking comics. Because I'm not, all my video games are in the trunk. Trunk's closed. Situation is, it's maybe like, the place closes there in 15 minutes from that moment. So I know I have to leave. And I'm having to piss like a racehorse. But I say, you know what? I can hold it in a little bit longer. I can, because, I'm gonna nail this $3 sale. Sell the day. So I'll make it $53 for the day. Again, I'm pretty sure I'll have a big bounce day back tomorrow. I didn't really want to stay there as late that day, but some people were playing games at the arcade station. I said, I have extra time. I'm just going to hang out. I was talking to some friends of mine at other tables. So I pulled the comics out, and he's looking through that as I'm just really, at this point, I'm just kind of waiting to leave. Car's running. I'm playing on my phone a little bit. I said, I'll give him about 5 minutes. Looked at the comic box. I forget exactly what we talked about. I think some comics or game he was playing. I don't know. Wasn't paying a whole lot of attention. This is where I'm like talking about respecting the hustle, where you just gotta laugh, right? And this is the same KID a while back, and I thought he was given a certain amount of money. There was a copy of FIFA Soccer, and it was for, I think, either PS3 or 360, and I had $10 on it. And I thought he was being a smart aleck back then. So I might have been a little hard on him with my response to him also. So that's what I was thinking, like, man, I was being kind of like rude that day, Cause just a KID, really, And he said, well, I have $6. And I thought to mean to say like, oh, okay, well, he's just saying I have $6, assuming I'll give it to him for $6, right? And I said, no, that's $10. Go find $4 more. And he just kind of walked off. And again, they're just KIDs, you know what I'm saying? You deal with KIDs different than you do with adults. Like if that was a full grown-ass man saying, well, all I have $6, I'm like, go get a job. Come back and pay me $4 extra for the FIFA. But he pulled out like, what did I tell him before that? I said any book in there that's $3 or less priced, I will let you have for $1. Meaning he can pull out any of the comic books that are $3 or less. Essentially he could get $9 worth of comic books for $3. And I didn't need to do that, but last sale of the day. Whatever. He pulls out 5 or 6 books, right? One of them being like a WWE book. It was like a 25th edition annual. I had $5 on one of the books. One of them was like Red Wolf, which was an old comic. $10 on that, selling it for somebody else. Then there's another book, I forget what it was. Then it was, maybe it might have been 5 books, maybe 5. Then one was Pit Number 1, which is a image character from the 90s. Kind of like, might have been Dale Keown, person that drew Hulk. And now I had $8 on that. Admittedly, maybe that's a little bit too much. Pit Number 1, $8. I mean, we're not talking about Spawn number 1. We're talking about Pit Number 1. And how relevant is Pit in 2023? A lot of these old image books. I mean, any of you that collect comics, do you know what a good, fair asking price for Pit Number 1 is? And then a Superman book, The Return to Superman. It was one of the books that had the die cut S, like on the cover, you could see through it. And it was the cardboard cover, but it was cut through in an S. And that, I had $3 on that. So he says, I want, can I get all these for $3? He says it with straight face. Like he has a poker face, poker face like Lady Gaga, poker face. He had that poker face. And I just couldn't get enough of that poker face, right? Like he wasn't grinning, like, I'm going to get this guy. He had just a poker face. Said it with authority. A KID, but as much bass in his voice as he could muster. He's like, I like these for $3. There's 5 of them. And I say like, well, that one has $10 on it. Like maybe this wasn't even like respecting the sticker price. I told him, anything $3 or under, you could have for $1. Pretty sure 10 is not 3. But like, again, I'm just like, end of the day, I'm just like, okay, this is funny. So then I say, well, you can have for $3, you can have one of the Superman book and the wrestling book for $3. Then he says something. It's so funny. He says like, I just can't do that without the Pit Number 1. I don't laugh like that, but it's so funny to me. He's like, shakes his head. He's like, I just can't do that without the Pit Number 1. And I'm just loving this little hustler. I'm loving it. I'm loving the haggle here. This is like, I'm generally entertained by this haggle. Then I think to myself, okay, one or two things. I could miss out on this tremendous $3 sale. Last sale of the day. Or I could say, you know what? Probably not going to move that Pit Number 1 at $8 because there would have to be somebody that comes by and understands and realizes what Pit is. A lot of you might not know what Pit even is. You might say, like, well, there's a comic about Brad Pitt? Like, no, this is Pitt. This is character. Like, if I was to take a survey of all of you listening right now and ask you in the comment section down below who all knows about the character Pitt, a lot of you might not. Fair enough. So, I throw in Pitt there for $3. And then I tell him, because he says he maybe wants to start a comic collection. I say, okay, maybe he wants to start a comic collection. That means in the future, he might be a good customer to come back to me for cheap books. I tell him, like, I got a lot of comics. Oh, I left this out. Left this out. Y'all gotta love and appreciate one thing he says. He had been trained. And there was a man that walked by, like, kind of waving at me right before I left. He might have been his dad. I'm not sure. But he was like, he was smiling. Because I'm thinking, like, I first told him, like, your parents selling here? And he said, like, no. So he didn't walk there. So I don't know. I'm guessing looked kind of like him maybe. So it might have been his dad. Gonna appreciate one thing he says. This is funny. To me, this is funny to me. He looks at the box, kind of like sizes up. He looks at me and he goes, How much for the whole box? I was going to say, hell of a lot more than $3, kid. Oh, man, I love it, love it. Not only was he doing the whole haggle thing, but he was haggling without any money. Like, without just $3. Like, I'm just going to break and go, you can have all 50 books in there for $3. That's so funny to me. So funny.